Welcome back to Watch Your Mouth,
where therapy meets culture,
where we're raw, real, and rooted in healing.
I'm Cadmona.
And I'm Dr. Monica.
We're so glad to have you back. And guess what we're talking about today?
What are we talking about today?
Today we're talking about something that you might have seen all over your feed. I feel like it's been coming up the last couple of summers. You know, a hot girl summer.
Ooh, yes.
But what we're asking you all to think about is actually hot girl healing. What does it mean to have an intentional summer?
Intentional
with your thoughts, your feelings, and your actions. Being intentional in your relationship with yourself and others.
Instead of this idea of showing out, I think what you're talking about is showing up for yourself and pouring back into yourself as summer as a means of recalibrating what's transpired during a long, hard, cold winter in Chicago. We get summer like that. We have winter. There may be a little peaks of spring, and then it's summer. And so what you're talking about is recalibrating from what may have been a journey, what may have been difficult. We could look at the political landscape and know that we've all journeyed through some very hard, changing times as they can continue to evolve into lots of madness that's around us. How are you utilizing the sun's healing rays, the slower movement of people, maybe access to water and travel as a way to not show out, but instead be present?
So keep watching so that we can talk about maybe hot girl healing. We can talk about how summer is an opportunity for self-care, for fun in the sun, but for a deeper relationship with yourself.
Yeah, tune in. Let's take a quick commercial break. Hi, I'm Dr. Monica, owner of Pierce Counseling and Consulting Services. We are a virtual practice, and we are interested in helping individuals with their transitions, whether that be grief and loss, divorce, or maybe even great transitions like promotion and marriage. Pierce Counseling and Consulting Services. Check us out online.
Perfect opportunity for me to remind you all to subscribe, to hit that like button,
share.
Absolutely.
Share with all the hot girls that are looking for healing.
That's right. And so I think that this is a great time to talk a little bit about, you know, some of the unrealistic pressure that's associated with summer, right? You know, I think a lot of people do this, right? If my clients do this, I do it myself, right? Where I'm like, okay, in the summertime, I'm gonna do X, Y, and Z. In the summertime, I'm gonna da-da-da. And it becomes this like mythical time period where somehow I'm gonna have enough time to relax. I'm gonna have enough time to like clean out every closet. I'm gonna have enough time to like, you know, go to the beach. I'm gonna have enough time to pick up at least 3 or 4 extra hobbies, you know, and it's unrealistic, right? I'm gonna read 19 books a week.
Oh, don't forget, I'm also going to look different. Somehow there's a transformation that happens between, I don't know, March and June that happens without any intentionality, any changes in behavior, you know, no changes in my food intake. And then I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed that I can't fit what I had last year, that somehow, you know, instead of walking along the beach in this romanticized view I have of myself, I'm kind of trudging along and I'm out of breath and I'm more tired than anything else. And then I berate myself, I shame myself, I put myself down because I haven't met this unrealistic expectation of this new body that somehow was supposed to be a transformation when I peeled off my winter coat.
Right. And I think that there's a lot of people who experience pressure, right, around the magical summer, having this like magical, perfect body in the summertime. Right. This is also the time period where we're supposed to take some kind of a lavish vacation.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
But there, and so then there's a lot of disappointment about what's happening in the summertime because we put this pressure on us, and we felt the pressure around us. This is the time period where all the good things are supposed to sort of, you know, culminate. And so what we want to talk to you all about is, instead of a hot girl summer, this is a summer of healing, right? What does it mean to move intentionally with yourself, with your soul and your spirit. What does it mean to move intentionally in your relationships? Which means you can still have fun. We want good things for you, but we also want to reduce some of the pressure, some of the anxiety, some of the stigma. You know, I love how the body positivity movement is like, you know what? I already have, no matter what my body is, it's a beach body.
Yeah.
Right? And this beach gonna get whatever body it is I have. And I think that can be a helpful way to begin to move towards sort of a calmer, less anxious, less less negative space around how we think about ourselves, whether it's our external looks or our internal process.
But I think it's an opportunity for us at that particular juncture to remind ourselves that not only can I just show up as I am, that is worthy of whatever else is happening. Like, I don't have to have a certain aesthetic just because it's summer. I don't have to perform a certain way just because it's summer. I can continue to grow and to be more authentic even though it's summer.
That's right. And truthfully, like, if we keep using the analogy around plants, that there's a purpose in every season. So it's not that summer is like this magical time period, but we do have more access to the sun, it's warmer. And when people talk about anxiety or depression or seasonal affective disorder, we respond to vitamin D, we respond to the sun. And so oftentimes we do have kind of like a little growth spurt with plants, and we can have a growth spurt with our energy. Let's take advantage of that, but not put pressure on that.
Yeah, I think taking advantage of it could also look like you realizing it's a both and, you know, something that I'm learning from you and growing to realize how it could fit in any situation. This idea of enjoying your summer and being intentional around rest, because rest is definitely an action that you can take in the summer. And I think too often we're trying to measure up to this romanticized view of what our life is supposed to look like at a given point. So if I'm a certain age in the summer, I'm supposed to be outside all the time and I'm supposed to be with people, and that's supposed to make me happy. And if it doesn't, then somehow I'm broken, and there's something about me that is wrong or bad.
Yeah, I'm glad that you said that, because that's one of the conversations that I have a lot with clients, is reminding them that there's nothing wrong with you, that you are not broken, that you are not beaten, that you are not sort of, you know, down and out, even when you're feeling low, that we are whole and healthy and worthy. And I'm so glad that you said that, because it's so important to begin to have the kind of conversations internally so that they can come out externally. And if I'm well and I'm feeling good about myself, regardless of what I put on, there's a certain kind of way that you walk down the street when you feel good. There's a certain kind of, you know, strut in your step that sort of shows up. And that's part of what we want for you all this summer, is to feel confident, but to feel whole, to feel worthy, to feel loved, and to be loving.
And if that's not where you are, I think the other point that I definitely want to underscore is, if it's not where you are, it really is okay to be sad. Like, contact you and let you know, I know that you're having a bright, sunny, cheerful day. You're moving through this experience feeling really good about, you know, we're finally in July and we're eating fruits that we usually don't get during the winter, and I'm not having that type of summer. It really is okay not to pretend like I'm having the same summer as you. Like, I really feel like this is one of those summers where hot girl healing really comes from an authentic understanding of who you are and where you are in your journey.
Absolutely. And I'm glad that you said that. You know, last summer, I was not having a good summer. Like, I was grieving. And it was a very strange place to be in. I think loss always makes you question how the world works. But, you know, I really felt very much like I needed to hunker down. Not even needed to. I just felt like hunkering down. I felt like laying on the couch. And so I was looking out the window and seeing sunshine, seeing, you know, blue skies and green grass, and none of that felt appealing. And you're absolutely right. It is okay to have that feeling. It is okay to be where you are and hopefully though, attending to yourself. So I didn't force myself
Mm-hmm.
to, go to the beach and sort of frolic in the water. I tried my best to make sure that I got up every day, that I ate something halfway decent, and if I felt like taking a walk, I took a walk. And so, again, we want to support you all in making intentional choices that are based on where you are and based on where you could be.
Yeah, and not pretending that just because you're outside recording yourself for social media, that means everything is okay. And I think frequently we'll paint a picture of what we want people to see because we don't want to show them that it's July and I'm grieving the loss of something or someone, or I am disconnected from friendships because they want to participate in activities that just don't feel right for where I am right now, or I have decided that if I didn't measure up inside this body, that somehow it needs to be punished and not allowed to be outside. And I hear that often. Well, I'll wear short sleeves when my arms get muscular, or I'll wear shorts when it's not so much cellulite. Well, guess what? I think at this point, we have to learn and grow into every point in our lives is a beautiful point, because when I self-reflect on times that I thought I didn't have whatever enough was, whether it was hair, nails, muscles, whatever it was, I reflect back and I think, I think I was okay then.
More than okay, looking great.
Yeah, thank you. And I missed an opportunity to celebrate in the body that I was traveling in at that moment. And I don't want to miss any more of those moments. I think the older I get, the more I recognize I definitely have more time behind me than I do in front of me. Even though I know it's going to be a minute before I decide to call it quits.
You ain't going nowhere yet. but to appreciate, the moments that we have.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
One of the things my father used to say, and lots of people say this, right? But tomorrow's not promised today, and so how are we acknowledging today, this present moment, the body that you have, the relationships you have with important people in your life? How are you taking time to cultivate spirituality and growth in your life? And so I'm gonna back up for a minute.
Okay.
I'm a right?
Rewind.
Because on our channel, we talk a lot about growth and we talk a lot about healing. And one of the things I really want to clarify, when we're talking about growth, that doesn't mean that we believe that you have to change and that changing is sort of the only sign of growing.
That's a good point.
I had a client that was talking to me the other day and saying, and as we were talking, I kept hearing like this ongoing list of and then, and the next thing, as proof of growth. And I gotta tell you, I felt exhausted. That's not what we're talking about, right? It's not this, okay, like you said, okay, I want this muscle to now show up here. I need to have 16 more friends. I saw on Instagram, me and my partner need to be having, asking each other 7 deep questions for a deeper relationship. Which I love.
I love to.
But, when we're talking about growing, what we're really talking about, again, is continuing to use this plant metaphor. How are you being watered? How are you being fed? How are you nurturing your head, your heart, your body, your mind, your spirit? What are we doing to tend to ourselves so that we can live full each day? It doesn't mean that there has to be this next challenge around the corner, this next promotion. Oh my goodness, my kid is graduating and going into middle school. So in order for me to be a good parent, I've got to demonstrate that my kid got into this next best. That's not what we're talking about. And so in terms of this healing summer, we want to offer you some things to consider. We're going to talk a little bit about some of the myths that are out there and some of the pressures that we know that you're facing, that we face. And we want to share with you what are some things that you could be thinking about in order to combat some of those myths.
Yeah, why don't you take some time and put in the comments this idea of what you believed summer was and what you're willing to let go of, what you've decided that summer can be for you. Hashtag Hot Girl Healing. And, check us out. Make sure to share, like, follow. right here on YouTube and or where podcasts can be found on Apple Podcasts.
Sounds good.
So when I think about how people approach summer, I also consider some things that I hear often from individuals. They know that they're having a summer because they're cutting people off. They've made a decision that their life is now healthier because they've cut people off. Like I'm freed myself from, the chains of that relationship, right. And somehow that makes them healthier.
Oh yeah. When you were doing that, it also made me think about all the times, and I'm guilty of this, where I was having a healthier summer and a prep to my summer because I'm not a cut off people kind of thing, but it was, I cut out carbs, right? I cut out sugar. It was that I eliminated these bad things so that I could be ready and prepared for the summertime. It was never enough. It never worked. And so I think your point of like, what are we cutting in our lives? And is that the method that's actually most helpful?
Yeah. Is that the healthiest way to really nourish your soul and to build on ways to heal? Another thing that I immediately thought about was when people say, I know exactly how I'm going to rest. I'm going to binge watch fill in the blank. And I'm not sure people realize that binge watching something or spending an inordinate time alone is necessarily what we mean when we say you want to have intentionality around rest and restoration.
So I know that there's lots of different kinds of rest, and I've been seeing people talk about like 7 types of rest online, and I really like it. I've seen a bunch of things, and in this moment I can't even think of what the 7 different kinds are. So again, put in the comments if you've got access to it. But one of the things I used to talk to my students a lot about is, when you are feeling overwhelmed and stressed out, what are you most likely to do? Are you someone who's most likely to unplug, or are you someone that is more likely to plug in? And so I really think that as we're thinking about a healing summer, paying attention to what's your natural tendency. And so to me, the unplug folks might be the folks that are like, I'm going to binge watch. I want to disconnect from people. I want to disconnect from what's going on. So I'm going to put on X, Y, and Z show. I'm going to watch that. I want to turn off my mind. They're the folks that are like, I kind of want to pull in a little bit. I want to hibernate. I'm going to put my phone on Do Not Disturb. I don't want to talk to anyone. And I don't think that there's anything wrong with using that in moderation. If you're someone who is most likely to turn off, then the muscle that you probably need to practice is to plug in. And so when I think about plugging in, I'm talking about what nourishes you, right? Because to disconnect and to take a step back or to turn off, that stops something, but that doesn't feed you. And so again, you might need to work on that muscle. And so this is the perfect time of year to be like, do I think that cooking is a burden or a chore? What would happen if I reframed that to an opportunity to love on myself? This is the perfect time to make yourself, I don't know, some kind of like melon salad, something that's quick and easy, but a way that you literally nourish yourself. And then you can also think about, what can I do? How do I allow someone else to pour into me? And so for some folks, that's like taking a class. It's doing something. It doesn't require a lot of effort on your part. You can show up and you can be poured into. That might be attending a spiritual service and going in and being in community, but that doesn't mean you have to do a ton of participating. You can just be with folks and you can praise and you can think and you can meditate, you can contemplate, you can discuss a reading or a book. That those might be some ways that you allow yourself to plug in thoughtfully. And then if you're someone who's always plugging in,
staying busy, hanging out with friends, distracting yourself, having to have the TV going and talking on the phone and scrolling social media, like there's always a busyness behind some people,
a buzz that's like this low-lying energy. Oh yeah,
those are individuals that definitely, because I am guilty of that. I definitely have noticed a lot more intentionality around slowing down and really listening to what I might need. That idea of being still has been something that is a practice that, I am still working at.
ING.
Yeah.
It's okay to be in the
Yeah.
ING.
I'm in the mode of knowing when I'm doing a lot of double booking myself, making sure every day is full, having something to do, making a checklist. I recognize that what I am not doing is hearing what I might need. And what I might need is a timeout or a break. And that gets me closer to something that I may have felt harm around, or may have caused me to have a disruption in my curiosity and build an agenda about how this is going to make me better. I notice that when I'm grieving the loss of something or someone, I tend to want to avoid sitting with myself and being still, because then that really means I have to look at, what do I feel around this transaction, this significant other, what's transpired, and I think sometimes we can become afraid of sitting with that, because then I have to be vulnerable. I have to share with someone what I might be experiencing. I might feel like, well, it's summer. People don't want to hear that I'm sad and I may be going through things, and that's not necessarily true. I'm not giving my friends an opportunity to show up like friends. I'm not giving them, really ownership around the curation of our friendship. I'm making a decision about what it's supposed to look like, and sometimes I am guilty of making it look like I'm the strong friend, and I don't need to talk about feeling sad or going through something. That doesn't give Cadmona an opportunity to say, hey, I notice, fill in the blank. Did you want to talk about it?
Yeah. And so, again, this idea of recognizing what are you most likely to do. It doesn't mean that you can't do those things, but what we're talking about is what happens when we use them and they're out of balance, right? And so you catch yourself being busy, you catch yourself avoiding slowing down because you're avoiding those feelings. That does mean to work on that muscle, sitting quietly, maybe journaling. But it does mean I've given clients this homework before. I'm thinking of a particular client who really struggled with this. Like, your homework is to cry. And I've said that, like, your homework is to cry, okay? And so sometimes it means crying. Where do you need to do that? Can you go in the shower and can you cry? Do you need to turn on a sad
really
movie?
Good movie, yeah,
right?
Yeah.
One of the ones that gets me every time is if I do like a Disney, there's like a Disney montage here on YouTube that has like every sad moment from every like Disney movie, and Up is gonna make me cry, right? Mufasa off the cliff. I'm like, and there was a day where I was like, I felt it here in my neck, right? But I wasn't letting it out, and I really didn't want to.
Yeah.
But I knew I needed to, right? And that's not cheating. It's not cheating to take care of yourself and to recognize, okay, I can't fully access it, but I know it needs to happen. Let me utilize some resources. Yeah. Right?
Yeah. And it may be something as simple as looking at photos. I know for me, it's looking at videos, family videos and photos, both of myself alone and watching the progression of who I've become, really reflecting on that, but also family members that may not have made it to this summer. And I think for me, there is a very soft, gentle space that I can put myself in that allows me to have a range of emotions around so many changes that have happened. I mean, the world definitely reminds us on a daily basis that things are not the same. And, that in and of itself becomes a reflection for me. So things are not the same in many areas of my life, where I work, who I spend time with, the people that are still here. And so part of my hot girl healing is the recognition of I miss some folks, and it doesn't have to be a winter holiday for me to miss them. I miss, summer trips as a kid. I miss being a kid on summer trips. And I recognize that as I grow older and wiser, that it really is okay to plug into those feelings at any time. That I don't have to represent this hot girl summer aesthetic. It could really still be me as a hot girl, having some healing around a lot of parts of my life.
Yeah, because I do want to name that healing is sexy. It's not just hot girl summer that's sexy. Healing is sexy, right? And in particular, one of the things that I think is so important for us to consider is how do we do self-work towards healing, and then how do we also create healing in relationship, right? We are not solitary beings. We were not meant to survive in isolation. And so again, we're talking about balance of connection to self, connection to others, right? But healing is a beautiful thing, and it is an ing, right? We're not talking about healed, duh. I don't know anyone that's healed, duh. But I know folks that continue to access healing, that continue to strengthen connection, that continue to build their relationships. And again, these are some of the things that we're offering for you to consider.
Yeah, because it's lifelong work. Healing for yourself or in relationship requires a continual review of who you are, what the relationship brings to you, and maybe aspects of what you need to ask for inside those relationships in order to reach a point where that is helping you to heal.
Yeah, and again, I want to remind you, right, that part of what Monica just said was it requires like a consistent review, right? Which is not the same thing as constant. Right? We're not talking about, oh my gosh, I have to constantly do this, right? But in any good relationship, there is a rhythm to this part of the process. And so, I think summer offers us this opportunity to do another review, right? You were just talking about sort of like, a quarterly review for yourself.
Yeah.
Right? And I never really heard people talk about that kind of thing because I wasn't really connected to like corporate America in that way. And then I had this client that would talk to me that way, like, it's Q4, and so I need to do X, Y, and Z in my life. It would crack me up. And the first time she said it, I really was like, I don't even know what we're talking about. Like R2D2, like what? And then it took me a minute. Use your context clues, okay? And I was like, oh yeah, she's laying it out this way. And so, when we're talking about these kinds of reviews, what do we even review for, right? We're looking at aspects that you want to love on, nurture, reclaim. That the summer is a perfect opportunity for some of that. Sometimes it means stillness. Sometimes it means slowing down. Sometimes it means, wow, I had this opportunity to lay here on the couch and do nothing. Sometimes it means I'm gonna go outside, I'm gonna go for a walk, and I don't always do this. I'm gonna go take my blanket and my book. Oh my goodness, and I'm gonna kind of find a tree to kind of sit by.
And it's okay if you fall asleep on that book.
Oh my goodness.
Because so often,
I love that.
I'll have clients that'll say, well, I intended to do this and I didn't get a chance to. Perhaps your body is letting you know what it needs. Our system always identifies what we're most in need of, and I think too often we ignore that part of ourselves. And I think we don't need to ignore or dismiss or get rid of any parts. All the parts are welcome. Instead, we need to pay attention to what are they trying to share with us. There is a message, and when we take in the message, we can kind of fine tune the actions that we take afterwards.
That's right. The summer feels like a great opportunity to practice listening with like bigger ears, right? Because maybe there are parts that I wasn't paying attention to, parts I sort of shut down and shut away. And so when I hear that first message, I'm not recognizing it for what it is, right? It's falling asleep by the tree with my book. The first message that comes to me is, well, you said you were going to read that book for an hour and you didn't. You failed at that, right? And so I might not be good at hearing that, wait a minute, that's not the only message that was being sent. That there was another message that was like, oh man, maybe you were so relaxed, which was part of the goal, that you allowed yourself to take a nap, and you needed that. Maybe one of the messages is, this book is boring.
It could be.
And I want to read more, but you know what? Not this book at this time. Right? Fine, read something else, right? Maybe you're journaling. I have a client who, we were talking about journaling, and she, she has a journal, but she also does video diaries.
Oh, so smart. I like that.
Yeah, and
I like that.
I love that. And so then she'll like come in and be like, I was rewatching my video diary from like a month ago, and I realized that this thing that I was talking about is no longer bothering me.
Oh, wow.
And it gives us an opportunity to talk a little bit about, well, what's different, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so even when we're talking about journaling, I mean, there's lots of ways that you can do that. So we're not prescribing that you have to, get some kind of like fancy $90 journal that you.
Although you could.
I mean, you can, right? With a fountain pen. I don't know about that. The fountain.
Yeah.
Because I feel a lot of pressure and anxiety about my handwriting not being neat enough.
I don't know. It always smears for me. Because you have to wait for it to dry.
Right.
In order
Who's
for
doing
you.
That?
Some people are.
Which is fancy, and I love it.
Yeah, I love that for you.
But you know what also counts as journaling?
Yeah.
Making a voice memo in your phone. Using the little notes app and being like, writing on the back of the envelope of a bill.
Which I have a lot of.
Right? Like,
yeah. And I keep saying I'm going to spend the summer and transpose all of those messages on the envelopes into a journal.
And you know what?
Maybe, it's not going to happen.
Maybe you took a picture of it. You use you use your printer at work, and you just staple that thing in the journal.
Smart.
These things count.
Smart.
Right, y'all? It's time for our
Sister Girl check-in.
By the way, we are still trying to decide. Are we gonna have like a little jingle for that?
Oh, that's a good idea. Yeah.
Right? We've been asking y'all. So
because now we've skipped over to, is it sisterhood? Is it sister girl?
Right.
Is it
we need some
sister
help.
Friend? Yeah. So put in the comments which one you like, and whether or not there should be like a little intro music.
Yeah.
And while you're there, I have a really good question for you. What does your hot girl healing look like this summer? Considering all the things that we shared and we talked about, and how we're really liberating you from this belief that summer has to look one way, or that you have to perform rather than really be present and show up for yourself. Tell us what it looks like. Hashtag hot girl healing.
That's right. Use this as an opportunity to connect with each other and show love and support in the comments. We're a community. We're in this together. We read every single one. And so we're inspired by the things that you all name. And you all get to show some love to, the members of the community. So
and show some love to each other by sharing the video, showing the video, liking, subscribing, hitting the bell, because that's going to remind you when we have some new podcasts coming out.
That's right. So definitely send this episode to a friend that might need to challenge some of these unrealistic myths about the summertime and get reconnected to healing, raw, real,
and rooted in healing.
Love it. Okay, so sister girl check-in.
Okay. You want to go first? You got a question, or you want me to go first?
I've got a question.
Okay. Let's hear it.
We're talking about, hot girl healing. It's summertime. Dr. Monica's showing them shoulders.
Glistening
right?
shoulders.
That's right. So I'm wondering about old messages, old beliefs that might be sort of weighing you down, that might be limiting you, and what those might be that you really want to let go of. And use the summer to practice being in that process of letting go of those beliefs, because you've got new ones that you want to usher in.
Yeah, that's a good one. And I really feel like in this stage of my life, what I am beginning to practice is I don't have to start all over. I can begin where I am. So often in the summer, it was an opportunity to start all over.
Yes.
It was like, okay, now I got to reset. And although I do spend some time, pulling myself, reformulating where I've been, it may be setting myself up in a lot of different ways. I don't feel like I'm starting all over anymore. I'm starting from where I am. So wherever that is, if that means, I have already started to eat better, I might be eating some more fruit and vegetables, but I'm not doing anything extreme. I might have been doing some yoga, which I have been, and now I'm just incorporating some cardio and some weights. So I feel like instead of dropping everything that I was doing and then forcing myself to do other things, there's a gradual build up throughout the year and into the summer.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't feel like I have to have already arrived. So I let go of this idea that somehow I don't deserve a summer if I haven't been disciplined or lost a certain amount of pounds or am working out a certain number of days. Like, I have definitely allowed myself to reframe what continuation looks like, and not starting over, but starting from right where I am.
That's really beautiful. It reminds me of this metaphor that I often talk to clients about around whose voice are you hearing and what happens. Like, so many clients have a drill sergeant in their mind around these kinds of things, right? That talks to them so mean and so rough. And I hear you say rejecting this roughness and the extreme and the hard reset and 75 hard and these kind of challenges, to really saying, where I am right now is good, and I can continue to be loving to myself. I can continue taking good care of myself, and I could find ways to enjoy that process.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
I love that.
So we talked a little bit about how healing is sexy. I am curious about what sexy healing thing you'll be participating in this summer. And I don't like things, so action.
Yeah.
What sexy action will you be participating in this summer?
That's a great question. Let's see. I'm thinking about a couple of things.
Okay.
So, one, I restarted. I think I mentioned in previous podcasts that I used to take dance classes.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Remember that.
And so my schedule has been crazy. This year has been a year with all kinds of things in it, right? Which, cause it's true, right? It's one of the things that I'm working on, right? Is the ing, right? Because here's the thing: your sister friend knows how to get a job, okay? Knows how to work. And it's the thing I do not need practice with. What I need practice with is saying no. No, thank you. No new jobs. No new
projects.
No new projects, right?
Yeah.
And so
no new performances. No new lectures. No new
work accoutrement.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So the sexy thing that I reclaimed has been to take dance, which I really enjoy. And I'll be honest, I'm not great at it. And I'm doing it just because I like it, because it's fun. Yeah, it makes me smile. I like meeting new people, and so that feels really good. And so
that's one thing.
Yeah, that's one.
One sexy healing action.
That's right. And the other one that I haven't started yet, but I am starting, right, is taking my I have this like swinging chair.
Okay.
Like like this, one of those like chairs you take outside, right? But I don't know, I got it from Costco. And it has like a little bit of like a swing to it, which is nice. And so I want to make a commitment every week to taking it outside, sitting under the tree. I want to read my book outside. Yes. And so
without rushing around or getting to a concert or having to be at a bar or at rooftop or on the lake. All of that's good.
It's wonderful. But I want to just sit on the grass,
spend time with yourself.
I want to read my book.
Well, not on the grass, in this chair.
In this chair.
In this chair.
And here's the other thing, right? Like, I've got a bunch of books that I need to read and I'm looking forward to reading, right?
Nice.
Books for, therapy books, which, as a side note, we are thinking about having a little segment where we recommend good books for you all. That might be self-help books, might be relationship exploration books for some of you aspiring and beginning therapists out there, that are good books for you all. And so let us know in the comments if you think that would be helpful and fun, and maybe And maybe we'll even do like a little mini like book club. We'll see what happens based on what you all are thinking.
Also share with us what you're looking for. Are you looking for self-help? Are you looking for ways to prepare for graduate school? Or is this so that you can improve your relationship? Or you really want to take a look at yourself, a deep dive into really some things that you'd like to change about you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, where areas that you want to grow in.
Yeah.
But the books that I plan on reading outside are none of those.
Okay.
I'm planning on reading some mysteries.
All right.
And some romances.
Nice.
And just some.
Do you have a genre that is your favorite, or are you like going to be sampling in different genres?
I'm going to be dipping and dabbling.
Okay.
But here's the thing. I need a happy ending. That's the thing. I need a happy ending.
Okay.
And so
you don't want to be left like dangling, waiting for a part 2.
I don't mind more books.
Okay.
But
okay, got it.
I like.
It's got to be moving towards something that is going to give you a bright, sunny.
Yeah.
Even if it's futuristic or.
Oh yeah. I'm open.
Just no vampires for you. Werewolves, yes. Vampires, no.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm a vampire girl. I like the vampires. Yeah.
I'm not like 100% no, but they
know.
annoy me. They annoy me. So something fun.
Yeah.
What? Okay, wait. We'll have to talk about this, right?
Vampires or werewolves.
or even broader, shapeshifters, right? But
I don't know about them. That's weird. Listen. Vampire is a thing. Werewolf is a thing. Shapeshifter? Yeah. I don't know. Are you pretending? Is it manipulation?
No, you're not. It's not pretending. If you can shift into a wolf, you can shift into a lion or a bear.
I don't know. I just feel like that is
someone
who's
right now
manipulating me because I'm thinking you're one thing and you're something different.
You're a shapeshifter, and they told you.
Show up as a werewolf. Show up as a vampire. Right. Just know that
show
vampires.
Up as a bear, show up as a human.
Okay. Yeah. We'll agree to disagree.
But, we're also curious about, what are you all doing, right? Is there something real sexy that you're going to be doing for your healing?
Yeah.
What does that look like? Where do you want to lean towards? Are there things that you need to do for yourself, things that you need to do in relationship? We're real curious about kind of where are you all landing. But thank you again for joining us.
Oh, yeah, this was a great episode just to talk about our healing in the summer, not being performative, recognizing that we could have a lot of emotions. You're going to feel a lot of different things. Just because it's summer doesn't mean you have to represent a certain aesthetic. I also appreciated talking about how there's work that we do that is sexy, whether it's individual, but keeping in mind that, we need community. Community is part of our healing. That there are some activities that could definitely not be as functional as others. Yes, there is time to binge watch, and if that's all you're doing, you may want to check in with yourself and see if there's something that you're avoiding and that you're not addressing. Just show up raw and real and understand how sexy healing can be.
That's right.
So glad you joined us. Don't forget to like, share, follow, and hit that bell so you know when we have other episodes coming out.
That's right.
We'll see you next time.
Take care.